Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome to the webinar today. The webinar today is about the career report in business, and we're looking forward to spending the next hour with all of you. It's great to see all of you, and thanks for your time. My name is Lizzie de Villiers. I'll be doing the first part of the webinar. It's going to be quite a short introduction, and then I'm going to hand over to Suzanne Conradi, the General Manager at Shadowmatch, and she's going to take you through the system part on where to find the career report on the system, as well as also go through the career report structure in detail. I know a lot of you have heard about the career report. Some of you might have seen it, but to some of you, it might be a new concept. And the purpose is really also this afternoon to walk you through the structure of the career report so that you know what to expect should you request the career report for somebody in the business or maybe even for yourself. So I think let's start. I'm going to share my screen. Ladies and gentlemen, career report in business, our discussion points this afternoon. I'm going to do a very short introduction. Then we're going to focus on what is a career, the career report in business, and then the last 2 points I'm handing over to Suzanne, the system demonstration, which is also quite a short bit. And I think the larger part and the larger portion of today's webinar will be the career report structure. So firstly, just as an introduction, how is the career report generated? Now, most of you, and I think maybe all of you, are currently either consultants or clients, and you currently work with the Shadowmatch system. If you are not yet using the system, then we would be grateful to help you and show you how the Shadowmatch system works. But the career report is generated off the answers, the meta answers that an individual chooses when going through the Shadowmatch worksheet, as well as the habit scores. So we use the habit scores once they've completed the Shadowmatch worksheet, as well as the answers that they've selected when working through the various questions. That goes into calculators and algorithms, and that information then informs the content of the career report. So the career report, there's not an additional worksheet or questionnaire that an individual needs to complete. They merely complete the Shadowmatch worksheet, and we use that information to then generate the career report. So obviously the content of the career report is based on the habits of the individual, and that's why it's so unique, and that's also why it's such a powerful report. Ladies and gentlemen, this report is age sensitive. So obviously currently the system will prompt the individual to give their exact age. We are in the process of changing that, and it will probably change during the course of this week still, where we will just give 3 age brackets. So we're not going to ask for the exact age. We will ask, are you under the age of 25? Are you between 25 and 35? Or are you older than 35? And you just need to choose one of those brackets. Now, you can think for yourself why this is necessary, because you cannot give the same career advice to somebody who's a school leaver and to somebody who's 40 years old and has been in the corporate environment or in a working career for quite some time already. So the age determines some of the content of the report. And that's why it's important that an individual needs to indicate their age bracket. Then, ladies and gentlemen, a career report can play an important role in business. We tend to think that career advice is only for young people, school leavers, and young students. Definitely not. A career is a journey, and the career report can play a very important role in business in informing the careers and the journey in the working environment for an individual. And we'll unpack this a little bit later. And then just lastly, as part of the introduction, you build a business by building the careers of individuals. A lot of people don't necessarily work on their career, they just stagnate. And it's the responsibility of a business, as the business is moving, to take individuals along on this journey. We do that by means of development, employee development, and we've had a webinar where we specifically focused on employee support and development. But the career report can play a very important role. Because if the business is moving and we inform individuals and give them information about their career advice and what they should look out for when choosing careers and building their careers, we take these individuals along on our business journey, and that makes the business successful. A business cannot be successful and have a sustainability if they leave the individuals behind. Now, what is a career? Ladies and gentlemen, a career is a progressive, productive journey. Let's unpack this further. With progressive, we mean it's moving, it's continuously moving forward, moving ahead. I'm not stagnating, it never stops. I continuously learn, I continuously develop, and I continuously attend training. to better myself, and to be progressive with my career. Now, the career report is like a compass. If you look at the picture and you see this long road ahead, it's the compass on my journey. And that helps me and informs me on what's my next step on this journey. What's the continuous development that I need to do? The continuous progression, the next step on my journey. Then productive. I need to create, I need to produce, I need to add value in my current role, whether I'm a student or whether I'm already in employment. I need to be productive. That's why I'm employed. I need to produce, and I need to always add more value than what is expected of me. And then, ladies and gentlemen, it's a journey. It's continuously moving forward towards an end goal. And we do that with progression and whilst we are productive. There's a difference between a career and a job. The job is the work I'm currently doing, the role I'm currently in. And that job is just a building block in the bigger picture. So my job is not my career. My job now might be to work with clients, but my career is, I want to become a manager, and I want to become a manager of a big operation where I'm going to work with people. So my career is I'm working with people, but my current job is I've just entered the working environment, and on a very small scale, I work with clients, but that's working with people. My career is I want to work with people. So it's very important to distinguish between a job and a career, which is a journey. It's progressive, it's productive, and we are continuously moving forward. Then, ladies and gentlemen, I need to see my career, and we need to help individuals in the business environment to see their career as a project. Now, I become the project manager of my career. And with a project, we have a phase, then we have a stage gate, then we have a next phase. So my phase currently might be I'm finishing my matric. My stage gate is I've written my matric exam, I've passed, what's my next step? So my next step in my journey is I now need to decide, am I going to do further academic studies or am I entering the working environment? That's my next phase in my career as a project. Once I've entered the working environment, I've now completed the next phase. I've now started working. What's my next phase? And I become that project manager. And the career report gives me the guidance, and it's a tool that informs my journey and helps me to continuously make the correct choices on this journey, which we call the career. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the career report in business. Let's unpack this a bit. I've chosen the picture of an aerostess and an aeroplane. We can actually use the analogy of passengers boarding an aeroplane, then they are in flight, and then they disembark from the aeroplane. So they're in flight on their journey towards a specific destination, and then they disembark. So the first part of using the career report in business is the onboarding process. I'm boarding the aeroplane. Do I have my ticket? Am I prepared? I'm going where? What do I need? Do I need my passport? Is everything organized? Is everything booked? Is everything in line? I enter the aeroplane. There's a safety briefing. I make sure that I've got the correct seat. I have my blanket. I have my pillow. So it's part of the onboarding process. The career report can be used to say to the individual, you're joining us now. Let's look at what your career should be in our business. So that immediately gives the individual information about the future world of work and where do I fit. And Suzanne will go through the detail in the report. It tells me about what should be the broad focus of my career. I've joined this company. I'm starting my career journey with this business as my first stepping stone in my journey. Do I need to work with people? Do I need to work with ideas? Do I need to work with tasks? It immediately informs me about how should my job be shaped. And then the in-business career coaching. Now I'm in the aeroplane. I'm on my way. I'm on my journey. What do we use the career report for? Firstly, to help people in their current position. How do I approach my position? My career report will inform me whether I should work more theoretical or more practical. So how do I take that information into my current role and say, what is expected of me? Does it align with my career report? If not, what will the frustrations be? And how do I align to make my job meaningful and to produce and to progress continuously in my current role? Then we use the career report to look at growth opportunities in the business. If I'm an air hostess and I'm one of the flight crew on the aeroplane, I start as a junior air hostess, but what's my next step? What are the growth opportunities in the business? Can I progress towards a senior flight attendant, a purser, they call it in the flight industry? And what's my next step then? So the career report helps us to look at the individual together with the individual to craft that career journey in the current organization. It can be used as part of the routine career development discussions. Ladies and gentlemen, once a quarter, sometimes biannually, sometimes only annually, depending on your environment, we have performance discussions and career development discussions with individuals. So the career report can become an integral part of those discussions to say, but where are we? Where are you now? Where are you going? And how do we align your journey with your career report and what your natural habits want you to do? Can help with career restructuring. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I stand under correction, but 12,000 pilots in South Africa have lost their jobs because of COVID-19. Now, that's quite a traumatic event because I've been a pilot all my life and now I don't have a job. If we followed the onboarding process, and when that pilot started with the airline, we gave him a career report. Yes, I want to be a pilot, so that's my career. But what if? If those pilots had career reports right from the start, they would have been able to say, okay, now I know what I can do and what alternative career options I can pursue. So it helps with career restructuring. And then lastly, as part of my introduction, exit career coaching. This is now when the aeroplane has arrived and we are now disembarking. And we're disembarking, we're now ready for our journey. What do we need? We need certain forms. Are we ready to go through border control? So exiting the organization can be, I've resigned. Ladies and gentlemen, very often we see that this is something negative. Let this person just resign and go. But it's so positive and so powerful to give that individual a career report and say, you are leaving our service. You know what? Here's a career report. We want you to help. We want to help you to craft a positive career. We want to help you on this journey because this job was just a stepping stone in a journey towards your end goal. We can use the career report when we retrench people. Now, unfortunately, this is never something nice to do, but it's inevitable given the current landscape. Retrenchments do happen. We can give that career report to somebody and say, unfortunately, we have no choice. We have to retrench you. But there's a career report. This will help inform you and help you to decide on what is your next step and what is your next stepping stone in your journey. Gives you very valuable advice about the complexity of the environment that you can enter. Should you do a practical or a theoretical career? Should you work with people? Should you work with ideas? And the career report gives all that information to help inform that individual that has just been retrenched. What's my next step? Then retirement. Ladies and gentlemen, interestingly, I've just looked at statistics earlier today on some of the Facebook advertisements that we've run for the career coaching webinars. And our biggest attraction and attention and hit rate is with the age group 45 to 60. That's the people that visit the landing page most, and most of our bookings come from people from the age of 45 up to 60. Very interesting. We would think it was the young people. Very few of them are interested in the career coaching webinars. So this tells us that there's a big need for older people in the business environment to decide on what's my next step. Our life expectancy now is 100, even 100 plus. So if I've worked from 20 up to 60, it's 40 years. But I've got a good 40 years that's still ahead of me. And the career report can help me design my next career or the next stepping stone towards the day that I end my career because of death or really because of not being capable to work anymore. Then second last is if the environment just doesn't work for me. I'm a flight crew air hostess and this flying up and down 4 times a week, being away from home just doesn't work for me. What else can I do? The career report can help the HR department or the line manager to sit with the individual and say, let's see how we can help you. If you can't move immediately, what can we do in your current role to align it with what your career report shows us? What's the next step? Maybe being a flight attendant is not for you. What else can you do in the airline? Maybe you become ground staff. Maybe we see the flight attendant job is not working because your broad focus is definitely not people, it's ideas. Then we can say, okay, great, but let's start looking at a job in the training environment and division where you can design training material and you can align your ideas part of your career report with your job. So this helps where the current environment just doesn't work. And then lastly, if we have business restructuring, mergers and acquisitions, nothing better than the career report to say, we're incorporating these people from another business. Let's get career reports and let's help them to choose the optimal position according to their natural habits and as the next stepping stone in their career journey. So Suzanne, with that, I'm going to say over to you. Enjoy and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lizette. Thank you for the very insightful introduction. I'm so excited to start positioning the report after that introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's great to see you all. Just a good afternoon from my side as well. As a standard introduction, you would know I'm working with fictitious data in a fictitious company. And everything I'm doing on my side, a system administrator will be able to do live and interactively on their side. Now, the first part, we're just going to do the practical things. How do we actually request this report? Where do we find it on the system? How do I invite someone and then receive that report? And then we're going to move into the in-depth look at the actual report, the content, and the value it will give the reader of this report. So at this point, let me start sharing my screen. Great. So today, once again, I'm logged into company ABC. I am currently the system administrator for this company. So this is someone that is a Shadowmatch client, has access to the Shadowmatch interface, and they then have access to all of the data of their employees within the company. Now, you would know an individual or company then decides the structure of the layout according to their unique organogram. So this is just an example company. For today, I'm going to go into the specific department of finance and then into the role of financial accountant. Now, a very important thing to mention at this point, the career report is a costed report. So just as there is a cost aligned to someone completing the Shadowmatch worksheet or completing one of the development programs, the career report itself is a costed report. Now, we have quite a diverse audience here today from various regions across the world, and there's pricing in each region according to your currency. But the standard guideline to work with is the career report costs about as much as 2 pizzas. So if you just think about what 2 pizzas does for your life, maybe put that value into better work and then request your career report for that guidance or request it for the employees within the company. Okay, if I now actually want to receive this report on the system, there's 2 things I want to show you. The first thing is, before I invite someone to complete the worksheet, and I already know, listen, I want this career report, that is the end journey I'm working towards with this individual, the system allows you to actually do it in one quick, easy step. If you're going to invite someone to complete the Shadowmatch worksheet, so remember, as Lizette referred, the worksheet is the measurement that maps the individual's unique behavioral patterns and the intensities of their habits. That is the data and the result that informs the career report. So without the worksheet, the career report can't be created, because what is the career report going to guide this individual on? So we need them to complete that worksheet. So on my page, I now went into the financial accountant department. I want to invite someone to complete the worksheet here. If I click on this button here, or in my left menu, it's going to take me to my invites page. And then I can choose this option here. Let's just do it one if we're inviting an individual. Then you would see this is a new enhancement that recently was added to the system. If I am now going to invite someone to complete the worksheet, I can somewhere from the start say, you know what? When you've completed the Shadowmatch worksheet, immediately send that career report as well, just as they would receive their Shadowmatch personal feedback report. So that's a very nice step to invite it from the start. What if I didn't do this? I didn't know I want to request the career report at the start, or according to my planning, it wasn't the right time to already request that report. It's in a later stage of the rollout of the system. Then you don't need to do it at this stage. You can request it at any time. Where do I find it on the system? On the results page. So for now, I'm staying in this department. I'm going to the page where I see the individuals in my company. So I am going to click on the list of employees. And once I then click on one of these individuals' results page, I can see the career report. If it has already been requested, I can immediately see it interactively. Let's do this for example. Here we go to Susan. We're clicking on her results. And if I scroll down to the bottom of the page, this is a Shadowmatch results compared to the benchmark in that department. At the bottom, you would see, there's a very nice teal button here, career report. And if I open it up, I, as the system administrator, have interactive access to the report. Now, before we start reading on this page, let's just do our last little admin step here. What if this hasn't happened? I haven't requested the career report for Susan. I didn't request it upon invitation, but someone has completed the worksheet. How do I then find that career report? So good news, also quick and easy. I'm now going to go to another individual, Norman. I know I haven't requested the career report for Norman yet. So if I'm going to click on the career report button at the bottom of his page, look what happens. Now I receive a notification. So it's telling me this career report hasn't been activated, so it hasn't been included in the invitation. No one has requested it for Norman before. Do you want to purchase this report? And you see there, the system is prompting you to say, remember, this is a costed report, that if you are many users in the company and you don't want to let that invoice run away, requesting career reports if it's not needed, you will already receive the prompt here. If I then click on this button, it's going to give me this notification here. This is the age group Lizette referred to in the introduction. So because of the content, we need that age for the individual. If that hasn't been indicated with his worksheet completion yet, the individual here can then, the system administrator here can then select the age group to say, in which category does this individual fall? Let's say in this category, I do understand that there is a cost and I do want to request this report. The moment that happens, voila, it's activated on the system interface. So I, as system administrator, can request any of the career reports. The moment I did this and I requested it for Norman, Norman will receive an email with his career report attached to it. So by clicking and purchasing, I've activated that career report. The individual receives it within an email as a PDF attachment, and then have interactive access on their personal portal. So that's where I want to go to, ladies and gentlemen. I'm now going to log out. So I am no longer the system administrator. I am now going to be the individual on the other side, going to my personal portal to engage with my personal career report. Okay, so let's log in. Let me just see that I grab the correct email address here. We need this one. I'm logging in. So do you see I am going to the exact same landing page, shadowmatch.co.za. I completed my email address. The system recognized my email address. It's asking me for my personal password. And when I log in, it goes into the personal portal. So just as an introduction, remember, ladies and gentlemen, personal portal is exactly as it says. It's personal, sits outside the company. No system administrator or any other employee can access this. This is my portal to engage with my habits and my career report or other resources. Okay, today we're specifically focusing on the career report. Now, if you look at the screen at this stage, you would see it's quite easy to find it. So there are two ways. You can either request it from here. So in the top menu, you have your career reports tab specifically. And here we go, there's a nice little video. And if I click there, I can go directly to my career report as well. Let's choose this option. Now it is open. I am now Susan, looking at my own career report. Let's start unpacking this report and see what the content is and how this would be of value for an individual. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the career report, it's interactive. It has a lot of nice videos and graphs and things that I'm going to show you as we move along, but it gives the individual the opportunity to be an active participant of crafting their own career path. So instead of it just being a one-sided event where you need to go through a million tests and a lot of things, and you need to give everything from your shoe size to your favorite color and everything in between, and you don't really know what you should do after that experience of the assessment. With the career report, you get practical advice based on your unique behavioral preferences. So the advice is sustainable for you. My report and Lizette's career report is going to look completely different because our habits are completely different because we are two unique individuals. So it's guiding it. So don't have the expectation that this is a generic report that, oh, if I've seen one, I've seen them all. We're going to look at Susan's report at this stage, but you'll see every report has unique guidelines, and it's in all the detail. It's in the little sentences. There would be a different nuance in the sentence, a different focus. So even though there are standard sections to the report, the detail would be unique for each individual. Okay, let's jump in. The first thing we find is it's welcoming us to the career report, giving us a description, laying the land to say, okay, what are we focusing on and what should my mindset be when I engage with this report? Ladies and gentlemen, you would see all through the report, there are very nice videos. Now, I'm not going to show all of them for the sake of time today, and that you can go and watch something at home when you work with your own career report. But this introduction report would then position the report and explain what are we looking at according to careers and the introduction for this. A very nice description here to say, okay, when you're reading your report, give attention, look at the detail, work with it, engage with it. Don't just let it be a mindless exercise, engage with it mindfully. All of the data would be there. All you need to do is read. That's all we're asking from our side is please read and you will get that guidance. Now, the first main section is then the future of work or industry 4.0. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the big benefits of the report. It's industry 4 enabled. So it's sustainable. It doesn't have a lifespan that it's going to be redundant in 2 months' time. You know how dynamic the world of work is and how quickly things are changing. So you don't want to be the individual that, for just as a silly example, go and embark and studying how to type on an old typing machine in the year 2020, your skill is not going to be relevant for so long. It might be a very unique specialist area, but across the board, it's a very specific skill. The Industry 4.0 enablement allows you to say, but listen, where the world of work is working towards. What are the main focus areas going to be? And where do your unique habits fit into this picture? So there's 4 main areas to say, should you be focusing on technical enablement, people enablement? Where does it fit in? And you'll see this individual here, the world of work they fit in is the technical enablers and functional enablers. The video would guide them exactly, say, okay, what does this exactly mean for you? So we're going to engage, we're not going to look at the video today, but please do watch it. This individual would then receive the video specifically focusing on their area as well. So just to sum that up a bit better, that video would highlight the entire picture of the future of work. Where do we fall in? And then my unique one to say about my area. What should I know about that? And then obviously the detail of the content guiding me into what does this mean going forward into the world of work. If we scroll down, we now start getting to the unique identifiers of specific aspects of my career. The first one here is the broad focus of your career. Now, ladies and gentlemen, look what happens if I click on this button. I click show my position, and then my unique gauges are populated on the screen. You will see there's 3 main areas. Should I be working with people, working with objects and tasks, working with ideas? What is the intensity of each of these areas? And where is my unique balance? Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, it's a dynamic continuum. It's not just on this side of the spectrum or that side of the spectrum. You could have a balance, you could have a definite approach. All of them could be in the middle. All of them could be very intricate. It's your unique habits. Let's watch a video. Let's see how does the system help us to understand this concept. I have my content, I have my gauges, but the video gives me the foundation to think about this aspect of the broad focus of work. Let me just there the video opens, and if I play, it's going to start.
Where do you start if you have to decide on a future career? Let me answer the question the Shadowmatch way. You have to begin by knowing whether your career should be dominated by working with people, like teachers, social workers, psychologists, and many more. Or if it should be about working with objects, like engineers, farmers, and technicians. Or should it be about working with ideas, like architects, computer programmers, and scientists? It could even be a complex combination of these three aspects. Your career report will inform you about your personal best choice as the point of departure towards building a career for life.
Okay, great. And if I want to hide my video again, I simply click on the button and away goes the resource. You see how nice and interactive the report is, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just the content, although the actual value lies in that content. I'm going to urge you to actually read from start to finish what your content is. Just want to highlight a quick element before we move on. Throughout the report, specific careers will be highlighted as examples of the specific area that we're focusing on. So it's not going to tell you, okay, you definitely need to be career A, B, and C, and it's just forcing you in that direction. What it's doing is it's opening up that discussion and the thought process in your mind to say, okay, if I now understand where I fit into the space of Industry 4.0, the functional enablers, what are typical careers that also fall into that space? And the report guides me. If I look at the next area, my broad focus of career, okay, it's giving me examples so I can think, okay, where should I fit into this space? So the whole time I'm engaging, I'm thinking, and I'm crafting that career plan until something triggers me to say, oh, okay, this falls within my interest, it falls within my range that I can get there. We'll highlight a few of them when we go to the bottom again. Let's just look at our next section. Our next main area is the stable and dynamic content of your career. So obviously, again, ladies and gentlemen, unique according to your habits. How do I see this information nice and visually? I click on show my position, and it's giving me my unique balance on the spectrum of stable to dynamic. Where do I fall into this? And the detail will be here to say, okay, what does this mean for you? What are the things you should take into consideration? And if we look at a few examples here, as I just referred to it, it would say the examples are provided so that it can help you think about career opportunities. Here are some examples that you would be regarded as a type of career you may want to consider. So you'd see it's broad areas, sociology, teaching, general business management, dentist, political sciences. So now I start crafting this through all of my areas to say, okay, where should I be channeling my career path individually? Okay, that's our stable and dynamic content. If I want to hide my position, I can hide it again and it closes in the report. Our next main area, practical or theoretical career. Once again, we have the nice detail in our content as well as our position to say in this spectrum, where is my unique position? And then the video would inform me to say, how do I think about this concept and what does it mean if I'm working with this part of my career plan? We scroll down. We get to the complexity index of your career. So how complex should the problems and the things I need to engage with be? If I show my position, it once again gives me my unique position on the spectrum, as well as the video together with the content to understand this aspect to make it sustainable for my unique fitness for working with complex ideas. Now we get to a very, very valuable section. Okay, all of the sections are very valuable, but this one helps me to find those specific tips that specifically focus on my individual habits to say, these are the things to always keep in mind. You'd say it's important, you would see it's important career tips, a video once again, an introduction to say, think of these things specifically, that they should either definitely be in place with your career or that you should avoid them. So the detail of the content will give you the information to say, if you're thinking about this specific aspect, what does that mean for you in your career journey? So this section here is very unique for each report because my habits that are applicable here is very different from someone's other habits. So for me or for Susan, it's the first one, immediacy and being quick and efficient. So you would say your preferred career is one with a level of time urgency as part of the job. So it's something that should be part of that mix. It's something that if that's not going to be part of my career, it's going to frustrate me and it's not aligning with my habits. I then have working with problems, working in a team, recovering from failure, strictness and structure, and similarities and repetition. We also have design and creative ideas, and then working with unpredictable context. Just want to highlight one of the paragraphs for you again, ladies and gentlemen. You would remember in my top one, it guided me to say, this should definitely be part of your career. It's an aspect that should be in your career, versus with some of the bottom ones here, my working with unpredictable content, it's guiding me to say your future career should not expect from you to work with continuously changing content. We would have also been informed with this in our gauge in the previous section of the career, but it's warning me to say specific career tips. Please keep this in mind because this can become a possible frustration area. Now, before we get to the conclusion, let's just quickly scroll up again. In my journey working with my career report, I now start putting in the big building blocks and then from that derive the specific detail that the career path at the other side is unique for me. It's not a standard blanket approach to say, oh, okay, everybody has to follow the same steps, because that's how dynamic life is. Not everybody goes to high school, not everybody finishes high school, and not everybody that finishes high school goes to tertiary education. Not everybody that finishes tertiary education walks into a specific career. It's so dynamic, it's so unique. So the career report is applicable to all of these life situations, as well as what we've highlighted with the age group to say, wherever I am in my career path, am I a school leaver? Have I just completed my studies? Did I not go study? Am I frustrated in my current career? Is there room for growth in my current career? Is it the end of my career? Or is it a complete new journey I'm embarking on? Now it gives me all of the building blocks to say, think about these elements, guide that with the career examples to craft this and make sure these elements are part of the career outcome you're working towards. So make sure it's sustainable with the broad focus, the stable and dynamic content, and all of the other sections we worked with. This stage, I'm just going to scroll down back to our conclusion again. At the end, it would conclude it to give you, okay, if you think about all of this content, you've read all of the detail, worked with the videos, watched the reports, look at all of this and what is the next steps that you need to do. And then it's going to give you the guide here to say your next step in the process is to read the report again and to make a visual summary of your content. A very nice conclusion here. And how am I going to make this visual content? Good news, ladies and gentlemen, we give you another resource to engage with this. You would see if I scroll down, I here have the option to download my career map template. I'm going to download this that you can see what it looks like. My career map template is a nice visual aid. I print it out, I put it next to me, and when I start working through this report, I'm going to work with this document and say, okay, let me start crafting my specific unique picture. So where do I fall into this space of Industry 4.0 workspace? In which area? Where is my specific engagement with these areas of my broad focus? Where do I fall into these areas to say, okay, where on this gauge should I be working with this, the complexity of the problems, the technical, the practical, all of this, my specific career tips, and then my short list of careers. So as I've worked through those examples, I'm highlighting specific one that grabs my attention, and the notes I'm working with. So a very nice visual document to help you to assist to work with this career report and make it become alive and not just something that is on the screen. And once I've engaged with this and I've now identified specific careers that I want to embark on, I have a next resource here. This is my test your career function, and we give you as a standard, anybody with the career report has 10 of these career tests they can engage with. Before I open it, just the introduction to this. This helps me to test my unique habits against the complexities of a specific career. So once again, this is going to be unique for me because I have different habits informing the algorithm in this than another individual would have. Now, let's take a few different scenarios. If it is me engaging with a specific career to start off with, I then obviously can test other careers, something that I've not had exposure with. But what about if we're using this in business? Then we can have the opportunity to say, I've worked with this career report. I've understood where the current frustrations are. I see now, I'm not getting enough exposure to work with complex ideas. I'm just forced into working with people. And I see my broad focus is not aligning with that. I can then test my current career to say, my current career, how is this aligning to it? And I can then highlight those frustration areas to make sure that we get to a better solution. So what are we working towards? Are we developing, or am I going into a different area? Let's see what this looks like. If I click here, it opens up my test career option. Here I can put in the career name. So I can obviously then put in my current career if I'm testing my current career within a business, or then any of the future careers that I want to evaluate if I'm working towards a new area. It would then highlight the specific areas that are relevant to my unique context and say, think about this and think about the career and what is the content of that. So if the specific career name, so let's use pilot as an example, just to relate back to Lizette's introduction there. What is the content, if for pilot, what is the unique complexity for this specific aspect? The pace and speed of activities in this job is slow, very slow, relatively slow, but does not stagnate. And then all of the unique examples, all the way to, is it very high, everything is time driven and must happen quickly. So the habit that's informing this in the back end is it looked at my unique graph and said, ooh, okay, if this isn't in place, it's not going to be a match for them. We then choose the example that is applicable to that. I'm not informing this now specifically, I'm just choosing the answer there. And then we work with all of these specific questions to say, think about this career. What would this career actually entail? Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are considering embarking on a specific new career there, or a career that you're currently working in, make sure that you know what you're working towards. So do the research to say, okay, what are the actual day-to-day things that are applicable to that specific career? That it's an informed discussion, so you're testing it real life. So then you can align it to say, okay, if you're thinking about it just in a vacuum, you're thinking about that career, and it's not what you expected. If you actually walk through the doors day one, then it's not aligning to your expectations. But if you then actually test it into, what does that actually mean to be a pilot, to be a manager, to be a doctor, whatever your specific area is? And then the unique role that you're thinking about. So if you are a doctor, if it's a doctor owning their own practice, what is the complexities of that specific area versus a doctor that's working in a state hospital, or a doctor working in academics? So through that you can say, okay, in my specific career, if I know these areas that is in my test career option are fundamental, and it's guiding me to see what my match is against this, then it's going to inform me to say, okay, think about these things and make sure they are in place. Okay. Just for the sake of our time, I'm not going to read through all of the questions, but I am just going to select the answers because I just want to show you what happens at the end. Obviously, this is not a good demonstration of how you should really engage with this resource. It should be a mindful engagement, reading all of the questions to see what are all of the specific parameters. Let's just select them here. There we go. And the moment I've actually completed the correct answers and I click submit, I'm going to receive feedback to say, okay, for this specific career test that you evaluated, what was the match for that? So the random one was then a 67% match to this career. So if that was my current career, to say, okay, currently that is the match. What are the slight frustration areas? This one, the one we focus on there. What are the high risk frustration areas and the certain frustration areas? And now we can start here to say the certain frustration areas. Let's start developing that aspect. So if you're familiar with Shadowmatch, we have development programs that help you to learn specific habits. So if we highlight this to say, okay, that's a certain frustration area, and we want to focus on that, develop that, we can help the employee to focus on that and make the experience in the career better and craft that career path to a better stage. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was now obviously just a quick run through the test your career option. You then have access to 10 of these careers that you can say, listen, if I'm crafting my career path, what should I be focusing on? And the detail of my career test will guide me to say the practical things that should be in place. Have I evaluated, and is it actually sustainable, or is it a naive expectation of that career? If I've engaged with this and I've done the effort to say, let me craft my career path, the outcome is I am an active participant of this journey, and then I can actually craft a career that fits my lifestyle and fits my habits, that it's sustainable, and I can find fulfillment in my career. Okay, thanks, Lizette. At this stage, that's everything from my side for the system demo. I'm going to stop sharing the screen and let's hear if there are any questions.
Thank you very much, Suzanne. Thank you very much. That was a very thorough walkthrough, a very nice demonstration of where to find the career report on the Shadowmatch system, as well as a walk through the structure of the career report. Ladies and gentlemen, there's currently no questions in the chat. I'm going to open up and allow you to ask questions. Allow me a moment just to allow you to unmute yourself. If you do struggle, you're welcome to put your question in the chat. Sometimes the unmuting yourself doesn't work. There you are. You are able to unmute yourself now. Let me just see. There's one question that popped up, Suzanne. Joseph, have you used this for outplacement? Joseph, I'm not sure that I understand outplacement. Maybe you can unmute yourself and explain.
Certainly. Thank you very much, Suzanne, and thank you, Lizette. Outplacement is, well, in the UK, it's like when there's a restructure or there's redundancies or there's a merger and people have to leave the organization in large numbers. They usually get an outplacement consultant, usually a career coach, to work with people to help them decide where they're going next. It just struck me that this might be suitable for a large group of people.
Yes, thank you very much, Joseph. That's definitely used for that. We covered this during the introduction. I'm not sure whether you might have missed that, but that's one of the applications of the career report is for mergers, acquisitions, and business restructuring. And definitely, you can actually use the career report in group sessions as well. So you can either, specifically in what you're saying now, where there's a restructuring and people would work with a career consultant in groups, you can request the career report for all the individuals, and you can actually have a group session to explain the structure of the career report, like Suzanne did just now. And then each person can work through their own individual career report. And this will, I can't think of a better way to help people should a business need to restructure, or whether there's a merger or acquiring another business, to help people and inform them what's my best career choice in this new business that I am moving into. Because, you know, it's not necessarily that I worked in division A and I'm now going to work in division A in exactly the same job in this new business. The career report will inform me, and very often with mergers, acquisitions, and restructuring, people have to apply for the job, sometimes even for their own job in a business, but for the job in the new business that's now the merged business. And if they have a career report, it informs their decision and helps them to say, okay, I've always done this, but now that I know what my career report says and what is aligned with my habits, maybe I should look at moving into that direction. So definitely, thank you very much for the question. I think even though it was covered, it's a good question, and it gave us the opportunity to elaborate a bit on that. Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? You're welcome to just unmute yourself and ask.
Is it? Just something from my side, I realized there's something else that I would like to showcase the participants. So, ladies and gentlemen, the whole presentation now was done on the Shadowmatch engine. So the Shadowmatch system, you know, and it has the live interactive functionalities, benchmarking, teams, the interview packs, the development programs, that interface, and then the career report is added to that. I would like to also just show you one of the new system interfaces we've recently launched. If the focus of the business is specifically career guidance, or it's specifically working with larger numbers like Joseph referred to here, maybe not for outboarding, but that is one of the main focus areas of the company. Then we have a Shadowmatch Basic platform. This platform allows you to work with specific reports. The platform doesn't have access to the interactive functionalities, the benchmarking, the multi-matching the teams. This is if you want specific reports, something like the career report of the individual or their personal feedback report, you can request it easy by a click of a button. I want to share my screen with you and I'll show you what this interface looks like. So this, I'm logged in and I'm seeing various entities that are set up on this basic setting. So you'd see it's, for instance, learning institutions or coaching areas. We developed this specifically with these companies or areas in mind to say, if I'm a career coach, someone working with individuals, working with their career journey, I want to access their career report in a nice, interactive, easy platform. Or if I'm a high school and my senior students need to work with this, or a learning institution and I want to help the individuals, there's a nice platform for this. Let's go into the coaching company for our demo. And you would see on this, it has less interactive. So if you're familiar with Shadowmatch, you would see the difference. If you're not familiar, don't stress. It's what's happening is I don't have benchmarking and things like that. So if I'm going to go into my career area, you would see in my side menu, I have only a few options. I can either invite someone or view the individuals. If I invite someone, the same as we've seen in our demo, I can from the start also say, which of the reports do I need of this individual? The career report, a study report. Join us for the study report webinar if you want to know more about the study report. And it's nice and interactive where I can select exactly the reports that I need of that individual. Once they've completed it, their results will populate here. Now you see, I only have the results. There's no matching score. It's just the individuals' names. And if I click on the individuals, I have interactive access to the reports. For instance, for Peter, I have access to his Shadowmatch full report, and I also have access to his career report. And here I can see it interactively on the screen. As for some of the other individuals, I might just have access to one of the specific reports. For Joseph, I only have access to his career report. So you would see in this interface, it's also possible to not work with that full Shadowmatch report if that's not needed for the purpose of your engagement. This is something that's added. Obviously, the Shadowmatch main system engine is still there and the career report can be added to this. And specifically in the business, if you're working with all of the facets of your employee, you would work with the system engine for everything from optimal placement, employee support and development, the teams, and then the personal wellness. This is specifically if a company has this mandate to focus on that. There is that basic platform to say, if you're focusing on specific reports like the career report, we made it nice and quick and easy and interactive. Okay, thanks Suzette. Thanks that I could quickly share that with the audience.
Great, thanks, Susanne. Yeah, that's quite an important part of the system, the new Shadowmatch Basic. And that would specifically, a business can use that if they don't have the need to do benchmarking and they really just want, and that might be a good application with regards to Joseph's question. So if it's really just a restructuring, Joseph, and you want to do it within groups and it's quite large numbers and you don't need the system functionalities like benchmarking and team analysis, but you really just want to give each person a career report, that would definitely be a very good application to use, would be the Shadowmatch Basic. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to keep quiet for a moment and just allow for anybody to unmute themselves and ask a question. Doesn't look like there's any questions, Susanne. I'm going to end the webinar and stop the recording. We'll stay on a little bit longer. Ladies and gentlemen, should any of you still want to chat or just ask something, you're welcome. For the purpose of the webinar and the recording, thank you very much for joining. Remember, next week, the webinar is on Wednesday, 3 p.m. South African time. And next week, we're going to focus on the resignation files and how to use the resignation files that are part of the Shadowmatch comprehensive system, how to use the information that you get from those resignation files optimally in your business, and how to analyze the data that you actually get from those resignation files. So please join us. You can find the event on the Shadowmatch landing page, and you're welcome to book your seat then for next week. Have a good day, and we would like to see you next week. Go well.
Thank you.